And we're back.
So we're going to talk about the raw money in the bank?
Raw money in the bank.
Christian.
What? What?
Christian.
I'm sorry, I can't even begin to comprehend.
Christian will win money in the bank.
I can't even begin
so you're
to
not
comprehend
giving
what
us
you're
religious
saying.
dictates. You're saying it'll be actual Christian.
Actual Christian.
No. Nope. All of my nope.
Yep. Yep.
No. It's not
Do
going
you
to
want my
happen.
explanation?
You don't think T-Bry has a shot at all?
Do you want my explanation?
Okay.
Oh, let's hear this convoluted piece of logic.
So basically what will happen is that everybody will win the bank. Kane has already been taken out. So the rest of the competitors of the Money in the Bank match, basically, all of them will be injured during the match. And the only person, logically, that will be able to actually climb a ladder after being injured to the point that he has been is Anorexic Christian. And that's how I think Christian will win.
I just
Anorexic
can't.
Christian, okay.
No. Just no, Cutter. Just
Okay, you want my serious
no.
prediction?
No.
Daniel Bryan.
No. Yes.
Well, now Yankum's just fanboying for Brian now, but D-Bry has a shot. We know that.
Brian is definitely the one I would want to win. I don't necessarily expect him to win. I would expect either Punk or Orton to win, just because. Well, no, Punk's already got 2, and he's doing whatever he's doing. That he doesn't really need the title right now. So Sheamus is going to win Money in the Bank, fella.
It's got to be Bryan. You know, I don't believe the hint that they put out on Monday night. I think he's going to win it. I think he's going to cash it for SummerSlam, and that's going to be the end of it. And even if it wasn't him, look at the other guys. You know, you got Orton and Sheamus, who are always kind of just there. You got Kane, who WWE reports got taken out by the Wyatt family, so they might replace him. But even if they do, you know, who could they replace him with? Ryback, or, you know, I don't. You got Punk, who's going to be busy with Lesnar and other things, and then you got Van Dam, who, you know, is not going to win. So.
Spotless.
Yep, they brought him back just for spotness. We really don't think he's got a chance of winning the Raw Money in the Bank.
Super big ones. Like, he's not, you know, going through a table or a ladder or anything. He's just going to do his typical, you know.
Rolling under, coast to coast, etc. If they can pressure and pull out of the ring and he'll down the night. So, basically, my question is, are you going to replace Kane?
I'm sorry, you need to turn off the auto-tune for us to be able to understand you.
Replace Kane.
Oh, well, Bray Wyatt seems like an idea, but I don't know that they would just throw him in there out of the blue like that. My personal choice would be Jay Gabe, just to see him do flippy shit, because, God, I cannot get enough of that man doing flippy shit.
Okay, I want to ask one quick question, just for purposes of straightening this out and clarification. Do you mean Bray Wyatt, or do you mean Husky Harris? Husky Harris.
Okay, first off, you're an asshole for bringing that up. Second off, don't chant that shit because and to pretty much anybody that is in Baltimore, go fuck yourself because that's not what you should be doing for this particular gimmick. That sound is terrible. This is not.
Oh yes, but terribility is funny.
Well, what that was assholes banding together to go, look how smart we are. We remember something from several months ago. Aren't we cool? Look how smart we are. We're so smart. All of those people should be smacked.
If it was, I know that got a lot of people upset, and I guess all I can say is, it's your right to chant whatever you want, but if it was going really badly, then it might be not necessarily more appropriate, but more accepted. But it really kind of kills the mood, and I think ultimately it's up to them to really get people to stop, because the character and the ambiance and everything is so enthralling.
Fuck you, you're wrong! Fuck you, we're right!
Damn
ambiance was actually mentioned here.
So, I do believe that is it for the, what turned out to be 30-plus minute, 15-minute time limit. We can thank NetJester for that, and there's only,
Oh, you were not aware of this? Your posterior better contact someone at once!
it's time for the kayfabe issues. Jesus Christ. We're going to do What's the Word. So I'm going to read a sentence, and our esteemed panelists, and I guess we'll let NetJester participate too, because we've still got plenty of time to kill in the segment. So they'll finish the sentence that I'm going to leave dangling before them like so many male genitals.
That's dirty.
Yeah, well, that was a joke. Omega VR, can you tell us, what's the word here? The Bellas are really starting to...
Get kind of annoying, because they're really not any better than they were before, in terms of acting, or wrestling, or putting on makeup.
Or being women.
They're starting to being women. That does not...
Well, they're not very ladylike.
There you go.
Okay, it's not your turn.
Yeah, now it's your turn. Gunner.
They make me want to push my fingers into my eyes. It's the only way to stop the egg.
And NetJester.
What the fuck? NetJester?
Am I Jesselneck? Am I a Jesselneck offensive now? What's going on there? Anyway, exactly. The Bellas are really starting to skeeve me out. They're easy, soundboard man. Anyway, they're really starting to skeeve me out because they want to be the great big grand dams that are so important kayfabe-wise in the Divas division, and they're just becoming fingers on the chalkboard annoying, and the WWE isn't healing them right. They need to do much better with them if they're going to have them be the grand dams of the division.
I tend to piss a lot of people off.
There's absolutely nothing the WWE can do with those two to make them good, or better, or even tolerable, in my opinion. I can finish the sentence with just 3 words. The Bellas are really starting to piss me off. So we'll move on to the next one. Omega BR, what's the word Ryback hugs feel like?
Like, a bad touch that you think feels good.
I don't even want to know. Gunner.
Either wonder what it would feel like to be a Big Mac in a wrapper. That's what it feels like.
Never. No, just what do Ryback hugs feel like?
If you're, and I know I'm going to get in trouble for this because it's the only joke I can think of. If you're a straight guy and you need a direction and you go into the gay bar and the priest in the gay bar gives you a hug,
Super Dragon
still
him
skews out.
down. Super Dragon. That's not Super Dragon, but okay. The actual correct answer was Ryback hugs. Feel like rainbows and sunshine.
All right.
They're glorious. Omega BR. AJ and Dolph breaking up is going to be
disappointing because they never really got off the ground. And at least one of them is going to have a worse character because of it. Probably Ziggler.
Am I going to be asked to? That's what I thought. It's going to be messy, because it really should be something that, it should have lasted longer, and AJ deserved better, and now AJ's just got this champ, and really, that doesn't mean shit.
Okay, AJ and Dolph is going to be so damn hard on Dolph. He's going to go around in the locker room, in the back area, going over the place saying, "Hi, I'm Dolph Ziggler. Oh, wait a minute. I guess that's how he started. Oh, okay, yeah."
I don't know what you were trying to do there, but I'm pretty sure you failed miserably at it. Omega BR, the last time I watched TNA was
this past Thursday, because, I try to do one good deed a week, one charitable deed a week.
Well, they really needed your charity this week.
Just quick aside, have they added anyone to the main event Mafia? Since the last thing I saw was
quite a
Sting
few
starting
people.
it.
Yeah, Sting, Samoa Joe, Magnus,
Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle. There's another one. This week's episode was taped too, so there's another one I won't spoil, but,
From what you just described, I'm okay with this.
It could be worse, but I don't know.
Alright, and Gunner, the last time you watched TNA?
A long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
And a gesture. Or whatever.
Well, the last time I watched TNA was this past weekend. That's how I know about all the comings and goings in the main event Mafia. And yeah, if you're going to give Suicide a better name than Suicide, it sure as hell has to be better than Manic. I mean, isn't that Sonic's illegitimate brother from that one terrible animated cartoon show?
Yes, according to Dark Matrix, who has joined us in the chat. However, that bit of trivia was completely, useless. Useless! Yeah. Over there, when the riots came out last night on Raw, I was...
Not feeling it.
What?
If you want me to get into a whole spiel as to why, I can. Or we could move on. It's up to you.
I missed the response. What was that?
Gunner, just go ahead, Gunner.
Because I'll do it, but you know.
I was going, hey, look at that! It's Husky Harris!
After you just bitched about
so now you a clapping asshole.
I thought it was good.
And in all seriousness, yeah, it was great. No, it was really fucking good.
The only thing I didn't like was that he was carrying a LED lamp with him. I'm not sure why they couldn't get a kerosene lamp or oil lamp for him. Shouldn't have been that hard.
Or fire! And there are fire codes. And you can't have fire.
But they have those lanterns now, don't they? With the bulb that's shaped like a flame, and then the light kind of flickers so that it looks like a flame.
That, if they were smart...
It just looked goofy to me with the LED lamp.
Exactly. How do you blow out ye old Brooklyn lantern, for God's sake?
No, Jester. What's the word?
The perfect reincarnation of Cape Fear that I have ever seen on primetime television. Other than that, all I have to say about the Wyatts is dum 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 dum.
Yeah. I liked it. So finally, for what's the word here? If I see one more person refer to AJ or her anus as ripe, I'm going to... Omega BR?
Ignore it, I guess. I didn't know that was still a thing.
Oh, it's a thing. It is a thing.
I have a thing.
In places. Gunner! Paging Gunner. We are live on the air. Dead air is a bad thing. Alright, Dead Jester.
We don't want to be talking about dead air and anuses in the same...
I know, right?
Damn it! Omega! You were trying... Oh my god, this man steals my jokes left, right, and center. I was going to say the next person who refers to AJ as ripe, we're going to turn them into a wheelbarrow wheel and see how ripe their own anus is, but yeah.
That makes no sense whatsoever. So...
That's a nice visual.
I don't even know where to begin with that.
Just picture it for a second.
So
it's like karma.
I think that was one of the. I think that was one of the tortures in Dante's Inferno.
It's one of the wheels of the world. You go around and reincarnate, man.
I gotta tell you, I'm kind of weirded out right now with YouTube. So,
until Gunner gets back.
We temporarily lost Gunner. Dark Matrix is providing us some more useless information in the chat here. The LED light, as opposed to the natural flame, was so that their faces were flatly lit and people could see them with the cameras. It's weird from an audience perspective, but you wouldn't have been able to see them the other way. Actually, I kind of would have been okay with that. I think the camera would have picked up the flickering light. Obviously not as well as the LED.
Candles before.
But yeah.
On camera, you wouldn't be able to see it.
Okay,
period.
All right.
You wouldn't see the light, you would see the light, but you wouldn't necessarily see much of their faces. But I think when they zoomed in, since he was holding it up next to his head, I think that flickering light, that would have been even creepier. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
It wouldn't have been enough. That's the problem.
Yeah, and a total blackout, yeah.
Well, even if you can just see the fire and not him, that's still... I agree, that could have been creepier.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Because you don't know what's happening. Exactly. And there's still the light from the faint light from the Titantron.
The monster you don't see is always 1,000 times scarier than the monster you do.
That almost sounds like a plug for Pacific Rim.
More like Pacific Rim, John.
I will give you a plug for your Pacific Rim, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I thought you were going there next.
Oh, I love you guys sometimes. Not very often. You know what? Let's get into the Dairy Queen drive-thru, because this show, I gotta tell you, this episode.
I need ice cream!
Drive-thru time. Shut up, Jester, and sit down. After this, you can get have some ice cream. But until then, Yankum, read the ratings.
I want an orange Julius.
Oh, I'm sorry, Omega, what?
I said I wanted an orange Julius.
Oh yeah, you can get those there now.
An interesting side note before I read the ratings and don't allow anyone to respond, I've never had an Orange Julius. So Impact, the July 4th edition of TNA Impact Wrestling, scored a .78 cable rating with 1.05 million viewers. This is down from the previous week's .91 with 1.11 million viewers. Holy shit, they're kind of flopping around like a fish out of water.
That was also on Thursday. Do you know what happened on Thursday?
No.
It was July 4th. Everybody was outside looking at fireworks instead.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much.
I guess I could have noticed that from the July 4th edition, but still, their ratings are they're shit every week. It's not like this is like, oh no, they've dropped down from, a 2.2 or even a 1.0. These fuckers are not, they're not doing well. SmackDown on Sci-Fi drew a final 1.69. or 1.7 cable rating with 2.38 million viewers. This is a drop from last week's 1.77 cable rating that drew 2.25 million viewers. So despite the ratings drops, overall viewers were actually up. It was another ratings low for the show this year, but was expected due to the 4th of July holiday. Despite that, it won the night as the highest rated cable original among adults 18 through 49. Oh, and no Raw ratings because July 4th.
And that was Yankum fucking up the ratings. Hey, Jester, why don't you read the birthdays?
Indeed I will, Gunner. Happy birthday, person, place, or thing. On July 10th,
Bobo Brazil and Billy Jack Haynes. On July 11th, Tyson Kidd and Butch Reed, plus King Kong Bundy. On July 12th, none other than the Beast, Brock Lesnar, with Shane Helms and El Generico. And on July 13th, we have X-Pac himself, John Williams, and Dink the Mini Clown with...
Did you just say Sean Williams?
Yeah, Sean. Oh, Whitman.
Walt.
Witless.
Sean Waltman.
Okay. Wasn't paying attention. But in my own defense, it's X-Pac, so nobody really pays attention anyway. All right? I can put that in as a defensive point. All right, anyway, on July 13th, Dink the Mini Clown, the Necro Butcher, and Grizzly Redwood. On July 14th, none other than Double J Jeff Jarrett and Bully Ray. Then, one of my all-time favorites on July 15th, Jesse the Body Ventura, and Cherry, and BB Hulk, and the classic from south of the border, Mil Mascaras. And on July 16th, Bobby Lashley and Blue Demon Jr. round out our birthdays.
I bet you Jester thinks that BB Hulk is actually a mini version of Hulk Hogan.
Well, either that or he's bald and beautiful Hulk. I don't know.
And now it is time for This Week in Wrestling with Omega BR.
Yes, this weekend, wrestling history. Circa 1986, where the fabulous Moolah defeated Velvet McIntyre for the WWF Women's title in Sydney, Australia, winning back the belt she had lost 6 days earlier. This marked the start of Moolah's 6th title reign, although many record books ignore the Australian title changes. Jump to 1996, where the infamous Bash at the Beach from Ocean Center in Daytona Beach, Florida took place, capped with the formation of the New World Order, after Hulk Hogan revealed himself as the third man on the Outsiders team and leg-dropped Randy Savage. Then, in 2000, again, Bash at the Beach from Daytona Beach would become the most controversial pay-per-view event in the history of WCW, when an otherwise uneventful pay-per-view saw Hulk Hogan defeating Jeff Jarrett in just over a minute to win the WCW World title after Jarrett simply laid down and a returning Vince Russo tossed the belt to Hogan. Hogan would take the mic and say, quote, "That's why this company is in the shape it's in, because of bullshit like this." Hogan would leave the ring, the arena, and WCW itself after the bizarre work shoot, which saw Russo come back out and complain of Hogan using his creative control clause to demand the title win, later declaring Jeff Jarrett still the true WCW champion, and booking a match later in the night that saw Booker T capture that title from Jarrett. And in 2009, former WWE star Brock Lesnar defeated Frank Mir in the second round of their UFC 100 main event in Las Vegas, becoming the undisputed UFC champion. Lesnar took Mir down using ground and pound to win via TKO. Lesnar then flipped off the crowd and cut a heel-like promo after the win, including insulting UFC sponsor Bud Light, saying he'd rather go drink a Coors Light because Bud didn't pay him anything, and making insinuations about getting on top of his wife, former WWE diva Sable. And that was this week in wrestling history.
And that was one of the greatest freaking, one of the greatest freaking heel promos that you'll ever see in UFC. And actually, if you watched UFC this week, you saw a great match between Anderson Silva and Chris Henderson.
Anderson, brother, could we get into that one?
Let's put it this way: if you think that UFC isn't a work, brother, let me tell you something.
Go look at that match! Oh, Jesus.
Happy trails to Hall of Famer Tammy Sunny Stitch and her dignity, as she generated another story this past week by announcing she'll be posing with fans in bed for photo ops at a wrestling convention in October. She stated on Facebook, your choice, $50 will get you to have a photo taken laying next to me in bed, and for $75, you can have a photo taken spooning or with me lying your head on your chest. Was I your teenage crush? Now it is your chance to make that dream a reality.
About 25 years too late.
Okay,
Pretty much.
with Sunny lying and having her head on top of somebody else's chest. She's got that totally backwards. Add $100 and we can have her head on our head on top of her chest.
I don't understand why somebody would pay all that money.
I'll pay it to spoon if spoon means she takes a spoon and digs my eyes out of my head.
Happy trails to Matt Morgan, by the way. I already said this earlier in the news, but Matt Morgan left TNA after 6 years, being promised a TNA World Title shot, but never getting it. Sorry, Matt. Hopefully we could come back to WWE. That would be potentially interesting. What should we watch this week in wrestling? Jester.
Believe it or not, there was actually a pretty good match on TNA, and the reason I bring it up is because one of the all-time heels has a new gimmick that I think is bordering between interesting and infamy. The former monster of TNA, Abyss, is now playing the role of his twin brother who's a lawyer who is getting in the ring now. And where they're going with that stuff, I don't know, but I kind of want to see where it goes. So take a look at the new Abyss, quote-unquote, and see if he's amazing enough like I think he is.
They've been doing that for months.
Years at this point. A year, at least.
Has it been that long? I mean, I only see TNA once every 6 or 7 months or so, and then I completely forget about it and don't even remember what happened. But yeah, they've been doing that forever, AJ.
But it has, to be fair, it hasn't been quite as established until now. Now that he's actually a wrestler and he does that shtick, and granted he's there to lose matches, but, you know.
I'd like to see him win matches doing a bunch of, like, technical, collegiate-style wrestling. No one would ever expect that, and it would be hilarious. But I'm going to go ahead and jump in and say what to watch this week. And that is the Punk and Orton match from Raw last night. Specifically the part where Dan Bryan came out and kicked the shit out of both of them and then climbed the ladder and grabbed the briefcase to show that he is going to win at Money in the Bank, even though him doing that is usually the sign that he's not going to win. Anytime anyone does that, they never win.
Oh my god, what should we watch this week in wrestling?
Well, there's a match on YouTube as part of the podcast at Go-Go, since you brought up Chikara earlier, between Claudio Castagnoli and Brody Lee, both of whom are now currently on Raw. That being Antonio Cesaro and what is it? Not Eric Rowan. I can't believe I remembered his name. What is it? Refresh me.
What are you talking about? I missed that part.
Brody Lee's WWE name.
Luke Harper.
There it is. Luke Harper. So Cesaro versus Harper, which is on YouTube. Look that up. Or rather, Claudio versus Brody Lee. You can see that. Get a feel for Harper's wrestling chop.
Yes. The series of matches that they had in Chikara, where they had the only Chikara cage match, was quite superior. Not going to lie. this week I'm going to suggest that you take a minute to watch Leaky versus Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins, which was a three-way match in FCW. Huh? I think Roman Reigns was Leaky. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Alright. For this week, and I'd like you to do some plugs.
Yeah,
plugs.
I have one.
Alright, go for it.
Well, since you mentioned Chikara again earlier, apparently, now I'm just bringing this up, but apparently that over on the Chikara 101 forum, there's a memory thread started by Dasher Hatfield, several stars, Gavin, Green Ant, Ultramantis even, giving their memories of the promotion, and their words suggest that the promotion really is dark. That the doors are shut. However, Icarus, Gen 1 Original, says that he's a little bit upset that everyone is seemingly laying down and accepting this. Way back when Chikara started, they fought with the Allentown Zoning Board to have events out of the Russell Factory, which they lost because they didn't have sufficient parking, but they fought back and became what they became. So the long and short of it is, Icarus, being the guy that he is, says that if Chikara was supposed to be at the Easton Palmer Center on, I think it is July 20th, that's the canceled Chikara date, the first one. Basically, he says if that's where Chikara was supposed to be, then that's where he's going to be. So, developing situation, but apparently Icarus going to be at the Palmer Center, and who knows what's going to happen.
I have a question. Did you read the Chikara, the thing that I suggested last week?
The big PDF?
Yeah, the big PDF.
I don't read PDFs.
I see. Okay, so
I don't have Adobe.
They're pretty damn frustrating, but anyway, just for the record, I'd like to pipe in and say Dark Matrix thinks it's all a work at Chikara, so he may be right.
Well, maybe. I guess we'll see. It's interesting to note that Kaiju Big Battle, might as well plug them as well. Kaiju Big Battle has an event that same night in Manhattan.
It does have some Kaiju Big Battle. Okay, so I'm going to do a couple plugs here. SmartSnark.com is the best wrestling podcast blogs and other things that you can pay attention to and listen because, our opinions are important and they're actually relevant and good because this podcast is on there. So I did that there. You can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/MarkSnark. Yankum and I tweet on Raw, at least we have for the past couple of weeks, and you can see Yankum tweeting at me and yelling at me for doing the things that he's doing, which isn't a bad thing. You can like us on Facebook, facebook.com/MarkSnark. You can email us if you have any hate mail towards myself, Omega, Chester, or Yankum, smarksnark@gmail.com. And, well, that's it for the show. And all I really gotta say is, well, since we need a new catchphrase statement thing to end the show, Yankum.
Yes, Gunnar.
Do you know what the worst way to end a show is?
Not Jester saying anything. Well, that's just the thing.
That's how we're going to end the show. Netbuster, take it away.
Tune in next week for the replacement for this podcast, The Amazing Adventures of Gus the Cat. Next week, Gus chases a laser-pointed mouse around the room. Go, Gus! Go! Get after it! That's it! Back and forth! Go!
Good night, Easton.